Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
It's a pleasure to welcome you into the 152nd Open at Royal Troon, where we're sitting here inside of the media center, as you can see, is only about maybe 100 yards from the first tee, probably even less than that, as the crow flies. This is the 10th time that Royal Troon will have hosted the Open. It dates all the way back to 1923 being the first time that this venue has hosted the Open. It is quite impressive indeed. Where we are is in the town of Troon, that Royal Troon is part of that. If I have a chance, I'll give you a little bit of history of how this became under the royal patronage as well. We are right on what they call Troon Bay, or the Bay of Troon, if you please. It's embraced by the Firth of Clyde. Others call that River Clyde, which I always get a kick out of because it's seawater that's coming in. It's fed by the Irish Sea. Royal Troon is one of 6 courses that have hosted the Open, the AIG Women's Open, the Senior Open, the Amateur Championship, the Women's Amateur Championship. The other 5 courses are Royal Birkdale, Royal Lytham and St. Anne's, Turnberry, St. Andrews, and Carnoustie. So the lineage is, as you would expect, quite stout indeed. There you can see on your television screens the Open champions at Royal Troon back in 1923. Arthur Havers. Arthur Havers was pretty young when he won this event in 1923. He was only 25 years old, the Englishman. He won by 1 shot over Walter Hagen, which I absolutely love. Here's the last 10 Open champions. Brian Harman, of course, defending champion in 2023. Earlier today, Harman addressed the media. So let's hear from the defending champion, Brian Harman, and find out what was on his mind heading into this Open.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 152nd Open at Royal Troon. It's a delight to see you all back here again, and it is even more delightful to be joined by Brian Harman, of course, our champion golfer of the year from last year. Brian, you have just had to return the claret jug. Was it a sad moment to have to hand that one back?
It's been a great year. Yeah, a little sad to give it back. But I'll remember everywhere it's been forever. And yeah, I'm happy to give it back. Happy to be here, ready to get going. Yeah, anytime that you become a major champion, it certainly elevates your status in the game, elevates the way that you're perceived in the game. And I've tried to take all that in stride, but at the same time, understand that the golf is the most important thing, and I've tried to improve my golf game and get it in a place to where I can maybe contend in some more majors down the road. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the most important things when you're playing links golf is being able to hit a piercing golf shot that stays underneath the wind and being able to work the ball against the wind whichever way it's blowing. A lot of times if you let a ball kind of go with the wind, it has trouble stopping going that way. So, yeah, that's the rub of the Open Championship and links golf in general. You've got to control the trajectory of your golf ball, and that's what makes this my favorite major to play in, because that's still a skill that I think is very important and sometimes gets lost at some other places. No, it doesn't. I mean, I think it would probably add a little bit of pressure, but I don't think you ever really know what you're capable of until something like that happens. And so at least now I know that if things go my way and I'm well prepared, that I'm a tough guy to beat. And if I just prepare the proper way, then take care of what I can do, then I'll give myself the best opportunity to have another chance. Yeah, I think I shared everyone's surprise that he was named, but as far as tenacity and, I don't know if anyone loves the Ryder Cup as much as Keegan does, and I think he'll be a fantastic captain. The players are going to mirror the I don't want to say morale, but the enthusiasm of their captain, and he won't be lacking for any in that regard. I think he'll do great.
Did you drink anything unusual out of it, or damage it in any way?
I drank some unusually expensive wine and some unusually exceptional bourbon out of it. I had one day. I was at my farm, and it's winter time, and I'm riding my four-wheeler, and I just kind of like had a moment. It's just me. It's cold, and it was just like I was so happy that I was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's like, this is just really nice. It's nice to be the Open champion and still be doing the same thing that I would have been doing otherwise.
Very, very cool hearing from Brian Harman, sharing his thoughts about the year that has now eclipsed. It goes quickly, doesn't it? Since he hoisted the Claire Doug, he had to give it back this week. And then it's always fun to find out, what did you put in it? What are your reflections, etc. He also talked about Keegan Bradley in that as the new United States Ryder Cup captain. Jon Rahm also addressed the media. And what was interesting with Jon Rahm is, he's coming into the press room this week a little bit off the boil, and what were his thoughts heading into that press room in terms of what he felt the week would have in store?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great month for Spanish sports. A lot of history being done, right? With Alcaraz being the sixth player to win the French Open and Wimbledon in the same year, getting to 4 Grand Slams at a very young age. Spain winning a record 4th European Championship, right? And Sergio and his team doing what they did on Sunday. Quite special. Coming back to a venue like this with so much history, it would be quite incredible to earn an Open Championship on this golf course in this tournament. It's arguably my favorite week in golf, and to maybe even continue this stretch of great Spanish sports would be absolutely fantastic, on top of all the many things that will make this week or this championship incredible. Last year from Masters on, I didn't really play my best. Didn't feel at my best up until Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup was the only resemblance to maybe the earlier part of the year. And this year, the first half hasn't been my best, but I would say started in Houston, where I kind of started feeling that comfort with the swing again. And I'm talking about such a small margin, right? I mean, I think I still have been playing good golf all throughout that time, but too bad I couldn't play, obviously, in Houston and the U.S. Open. But Nashville and last week I felt more comfortable, getting closer to a higher level of golf where maybe there isn't as many thoughts on my process, right? Maybe I'm playing a little bit more freely and seeing the ball flight that I want to see more often. So, yeah, I'm getting much closer to what it might have been early last year. Well, I got to enjoy Troon yesterday on the easiest weather you're ever going to see in Scotland. I was only meant to play 9 holes, but I looked at Turo and I said, it's sunny, there's no wind, it's perfect temperature. Let's just enjoy the walk. How often do you get to come to a major and just truly just enjoy the beauty of the golf course, right? Kind of put a little bit of a show for the few fans that are out there, take care of the kids. It was a very enjoyable second 9, in which I know we're not going to play the golf course like that ever again. So it's like any other links, right? Keep it on the fairway, avoid bunkers. And that's obviously going to set yourself up to put you in a position to where you can maybe attack some pins and make some birdies, but everything depends on the weather, right? If the wind comes like it can come, especially out here, it's almost a bit of a survival. I think last Opens here score, 2 players were the anomaly. I haven't really seen many of the Opens having a really low winning score here, right? It's a tricky golf course, especially the stretch of 9, 10, 11, even 12, 13, 14 now with the other tee, and I guess 15 can get quite difficult. All of them playing almost in of the left. That's a difficult part of the golf course. So you need to do everything well. But I think obviously having control over the spin and trajectory of the ball is almost the most important part.
I think it's always interesting to listen to major champions, great players, when they come into the press room, because in some level, don't we all kind of look for signs to get a sense that, someone is ready for the week? And what does that mean? when it comes to Jon Rahm, he was so copacetic, he was so laid back in that press conference that, frankly, I'm kind of struggling to figure out if that means that he has that razor-sharp edge to compete, or if he's just too comfortable to be able to find it. What do you guys think about that? I'd be curious what your opinion is on that. Let's get to some opinions. I want to get to some odds here, Dom. I want to get to some tee times. We've got more sound coming up from the press room in just a little bit. But Dom, let's start with the odds. Where are they at right now? What are the bookies saying in terms of who they think will be the favorites this week?
Well, you can see the odds there up on the screen with Matt. 5-1 Scottie Scheffler, 8-1 Rory McIlroy, 12-1 Ludvig Åberg, who we're going to hear from in just a moment. And then you got Xander, Morikawa, and DeChambeau. Matt, the complication here is that there is a pretty clear divide between Scottie, Rory, and everybody else at this point. Do you think that's fair?
Yes, I do think it's fair. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that Scottie would be that high. Rory, I'm not sure if they're not overestimating him a little bit. I mean, he factored again at the Scottish Open. I suppose they're looking at it saying overall ball striking is so good right now for Rory McIlroy that he can find his way back to the top of the leaderboard. So that's the only odds that having said that, if somebody pressed me on it and said, would you not take Rory McIlroy if you were putting together a pool of players that you thought were going to win? Of course you would. So yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
I'm just not sure
what
if the divide is.
What I think is fun about it, Matt, is if you look at the odds,
yeah,
and you exclude Rory and Scottie, you exclude them.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredibly wide open. Like even the odds makers are like, man, freaking a lot of people could win this tournament if it's not Scottie and Rory. So, I mean, you've got, and it's all over the map, right? I mean, there's pretty much everybody's between 15-1 and 35 or 40-1. Everybody.
Yeah,
so
see,
it's just fascinating.
Why wouldn't Bryson be higher? Why wouldn't Xander be higher? Cantlay, guys, in the latter two guys that are very good in total driving, which I think is an important stat here. I had dinner with a friend the other night that's a member here, and I'm not sure if this is public knowledge or not, but what he was telling me was that they've been fertilizing the rough. So they've already had a very wet spring and into the summer here. So when you see the golf course, if you're expecting it to be brown the way a typical open course is, it isn't. There's a lot of green out here. And so you're going to have a thick, lush rough regardless. And now on top of that, if they fertilize it, you're still going to get the brown wispy fescue at the top, but it's going to be very thick and penal at the bottom, which goes up to about, if you could, Don, pull me back on camera for 1 second so I can demonstrate the depth of when you get below that wispy top. It's about, can you see it? Am I holding it the right way? It's about that thick down the bottom. It's really, really thick, and it comes in bunches. It's not like what we saw at the U.S. Open where they have what they call that wiregrass. It is not like what we saw last week at the Renaissance for the Scottish Open where you could go into the rough and the primary rough and get a pretty good lie. So what happens is when the rough is really thick, and they're going to do a lot of fertilizing in the fairways, etc., and a lot of times you get the very, very thick collar rough that comes from what they call overspray, right on the edge. Well, this has been a deliberate effort to fertilize. And then they move the rope lines a little bit farther back so that there's more room for you to get caught up in this heavy rough. Is that a reflection to the last time that the Open was here when Henrik Stenson what was then scoring records with his victory? I would tend to believe it probably is. So yeah, that is very, very interesting. The odds are very interesting. Also, Dom, I know on this Tuesday the tee times are out. What are you hearing in terms of notable tee times?
Sure, you can see the odds up there on the screen for you. The tee times were officially released not that long ago, Matt, maybe an hour ago. I will just very quickly read a couple of the cool pairings here. You've got, let's see, as I scroll around in the morning for the morning wave, you've got Tony Finau, Russell Henley, Matthew Pavone at 9:25, Jon Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood, Robert McIntyre at 9:36. Following them at 9:47, you've got Ludvig Åberg, who we're going to hear from in just 1 second, Bryson DeChambeau, who we're also going to hear from today, and Tom Kim. 9:58, Brian Harman, the defending champion, Victor Hovland and Sahith Theegala. This is all back-to-back-to-back in the morning wave here. 10:09, Rory McIlroy, Max Homa, Tyrrell Hatton. You've got the new Ryder Cup captain for the United States, Keegan Bradley, teeing off immediately following at 10:20 with Will Zalatoris and Gordon Sargent, the long bomber amateur there. Let me scroll down here towards the afternoon wave, which I know includes Phil Mickelson and also Tiger Woods. Phil Mickelson's at 2:04 with Dustin Johnson and Juice Luton. We've got Wyndham Clark, Hideki Matsuyama, and Brooks Koepka at 2:26. Immediately following them, we have Tiger Woods, Xander Schauffele, and Patrick Cantlay. 2:48, Colin Morikawa, Sam Burns, Si-Woo Kim. And then I'll give you this one here, and we'll wrap it up here, Matt. 3:10 p.m., Jordan Spieth, Cam Young, and Scottie Scheffler. So that's just a very quick look at what we have to look forward to this week. Very exciting there, Matt. And then before I toss it back to you, because I know I want to get to Ludvig, my question of the day was, who will win the Open? And we just showed you those odds. Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, or I gave a write-in or other option, because basically, as we showed with the odds there, Matt, it's literally Scottie or Rory or everybody else. And right now, 31% are saying Rory, 62% are saying write-in or other, if you will. And we've got some folks who've written in Jon Rahm, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama. Again, it speaks to being all over the map. But only 6% are saying Scottie Scheffler. I wonder if that's because we haven't seen him in a little while.
Could be, but he came off a playoff win at the Travelers. He's won 6 times, so I don't think you can discount him. I think if only 6% are seeing him as the most likely to win, which maybe I'm reframing your question because you flat out asked who is going to win, and I do think that Rory's a pretty good. I would probably take Rory over Scottie, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Scottie didn't run away with this thing because it's about ball striking. Thursday, the forecast on Thursday, I was just looking at it as you were talking, Dom. It's the winds have the forecast of the winds have gone up to about 10 to 20 miles per hour, but Thursday is a 51% chance of weather. I'll give you the official forecast here. Rain showers early with overcast skies later in the day, high of 64. Winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain at 50% as mentioned. So none of the weather looks particularly horrible. Friday's going to be a high of 65. Low chance of rain, winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Saturday, a high of 64. It's the highest chance of rain right now, and obviously that can change. And the winds there are 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then Sunday's, again, about 50% chance of rain, winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, a little bit higher. So the weather really isn't that bad. All right, what about Ludvig Åberg? Many think that this young man from Sweden, the 25-year-old, is one of the favorites for this Open. He was in the mix, obviously, last week at the Scottish Open, but stumbled just a little bit. Let's find out what the mindset is of Ludvig coming into this Open.
I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a cool week, a cool tournament. This being my first Open, I've never even been to one, so I'm trying to soak it all in now, Monday through Wednesday, and then come Thursday, be as ready as I can to play good golf. Yeah, absolutely. I've said it a few times before. I think that day should be a national holiday in Sweden. It was a very cool day, and I vividly remember watching it with my friends, and it's cool to see what he's done for Swedish golf, and he's doing so. Obviously, that was the pinnacle of that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm playing good golf. I'm working on the tendencies. I'm trying to score as well as I can, and sometimes you get away with a little bit more, and sometimes you get a little bit more exposed. I think yesterday was a good example of when I wasn't in the fairway. It was tough, and being better off the tee yesterday would have been a little bit easier, obviously, to score a better score, but still felt like there was a lot of good things last week. And you know, if you put it in a bigger perspective, I'm obviously very happy with a top 5 finish. It is the one that's closer to home, definitely, and it is the one that I've watched growing up a little bit more, a little bit closer. So I do feel that connection to the Open and to the UK, and I love being here. I love playing these tournaments, and really looking forward to it. Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, me and my coach, we use the term of like brushing your teeth. You do it every day, and you're trying to work on it a little bit, so you don't get too far off on one side or the other. So that's what we're trying to do. Monday through Wednesday, you got a little bit more time, and then obviously during the tournament days, you do that as well. So it's not like, I'm reinventing the swing or anything like that. It's the same tendencies I've had for a long time. So you just need a little bit of a push in the right direction, and that's the case. I think I will do that in a little bit. Right now, you're just so into it, going from tournament to tournament and trying to play as well as you can. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun these last 12 months, 13 months, and very fortunate to have had a lot of those experiences. And ultimately, I'm just trying to play good golf and trying to have fun with me and my team and my coaches and whatnot. So it's cool, and hopefully we'll have many more years to come. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've learned a lot that I like being in this situation. I think that's the main thing. I try not to shy away from it. In football, you talk a lot about wanting the ball, and that's what I try to tell myself, and that's what I want to do. I enjoy the pressure. I think that's what you want. That's why you play and practice all these hours. And to be in that situation is just cool. It's fun to see the people around enjoying watching golf and then enjoying watching you play, and ultimately that's why you play golf.
Ludvig, coming through the press room here at the 152nd Open. We are inside of the media center. We have much more for you coming up on the Fairways of Life show today, including Bryson and Rory and Tiger amongst the voices that you're going to hear. We're going to take a closer look at this golf course still coming up here today. First, the Fairways of Life show is presented by the PGA Tour Superstore. They are the #1 golf retailer from coast to coast, and they are special first and foremost in my mind, not only because of their big, beautiful stores that certainly have whatever your game could possibly need, but because you're shopping with pros. These are people that are experts in the game of golf, not simply just trying to sell you a piece of sporting goods. They have a vested interest in your best interest. Check it out for yourself. Head into the PGA Tour Superstore, your happy place.
PGA Tour Superstore pros aren't born, they're made. Every January, hundreds of associates talk to the top manufacturers, learn about the latest clubs, test the newest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together, hit over 100,000 balls, all so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Getting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Getting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're gonna need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. We are live from the Media Center here at the 152nd Open at Royal Troon, where we had a chance to hear from Bryson DeChambeau. You're getting comments as a player is coming into the week. What is their mindset? Where are their emotions at for Bryson DeChambeau? Where is he at from a game perspective? Again, from an emotional perspective, from just a general perspective, heading into this major after victory at the last. And how much did his win at the U.S. Open change perhaps his own self-perception versus that of the people at large? Here is Bryson addressing the media.
Yeah, first off, it's great to be here. Second off, it's a tough golf course. That back nine has some teeth, and you've got to drive it straight. You've got to control your golf ball. And, greens are pretty fair, but driving it straight and controlling that golf ball underneath the wind is going to be super key this week. I think I've always been who I've been. I've definitely matured a lot. It's been a growing process for me over the course of time, and YouTube has massively helped. I can tell you that, and being able to just release the emotions in the way that I know I can. When I was a kid, I was super emotional, obviously, but I got frustrated on the golf course. I got really excited on the golf course. And then when I got on tour, it was like everybody had to hey, no, come on, just be in control, control yourself. And there were times where I got frustrated, but also times where I realized, hey, no, I should be expressing my emotions because that's me. I don't want to be someone that I'm not. And just really defining that and refining that into a place where it is today has just been a lot of work in progress. And it's just taken time for me to have a better, bigger perspective on life. And also having a platform where I can showcase that and refine it to a really cool level and give people some great entertainment. It can be a difficult challenge. I wouldn't say it's a problem, it's a challenge. I think that's what's so great about links golf and Open Championship, and what it provides is a different test and a different test to try and figure out and get an A on, I guess you could say. For me, I played well at Royal Lytham St. Anne's when it was firm and fast at the Walker Cup. Played well at St. Andrews, played well at a few other places, but it's always been a difficult test for me just because I wasn't great at putting early on in my career, and gotten a little bit better, and my wedge game's gotten better. I've learned to flight the ball a little bit, so slowly it's getting there. I think just a couple more reps and shoot, if I play well this week, I think I can give myself a good chance, obviously. That's all I'm focused on, but I just think over the course of time I'm going to get more and more comfortable with this golf course. Yeah, and very confident, obviously. It all depends on if I'm striking it well. I can come in here with the most confidence, obviously, off of a major championship win. Played decent last week as well, but really what matters is if I can continue to drive the ball as well as I have and ball strike my irons the way I know I can and putt the way I can. If I do those 3 things well, even 4 things with chipping and bunker play on the greens, I think I'll give myself a good chance. I know how to get the job done. It's just a matter of if I'm as consistent as I was at the U.S. Open last week and a few other venues as well. If I can play the golf that I have been, I think I'll give myself a great chance.
A seemingly somewhat subdued Bryson DeChambeau coming into the week at the 152nd Open, although saying he still was brimming with confidence at that point. What about Tiger Woods? What point is he at in terms of his competitive preparation with everything else that Tiger has on his plate?
I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't get a chance to play it last time I was here, and looking forward to the challenges. I know I've gone around here a couple times and lengthened quite a few holes. It's a lot longer golf course and a few added bunkers here and there, but overall it's one of those courses where you're going to get it on one of the nines. It's either going out, it's going to be downwind, or coming home, it's going to be into the wind, or vice versa. So half the holes are going to be playing really difficult, and the other ones are definitely gettable. I've been training a lot better. We've been busting it pretty hard in the gym, which has been good. Body's been feeling better to be able to do such things, and it translates. I'm able to hit the ball better. Can't quite stay out there during the practice sessions as long as I'd like, but I'm able to do some things that I haven't done all year, which is nice. Well, the decision was very difficult for me to make. I mean, my time has been so loaded with the tour and everything we're trying to accomplish. I'm on so many different subcommittees that it just takes so much time in the day, and I'm always on calls. And I told Seth that I just didn't feel like I could do the job properly. I couldn't devote the time. I barely had enough time to do what I'm doing right now, and add in the TGL starts next year, as well as the Ryder Cup, and you add all that together. And then with our negotiations with the PIF, all that concurrently going on at exactly the same time, there's only so many hours in a day, and I just didn't feel like I would be doing the captaincy or the players and Team USA justice if I was the captain with everything that I have to do. And then with Keegan, I think Keegan's going to be a great leader. He's very passionate about what he does. He's very passionate about the event. I think that this is going to be probably a turnover year for us as for the captaincies, whether it's the captain itself and his vice captains. I think this is the natural progression we've been looking forward to, and I think it's that year. Yeah, it's just so simple. I hit 9-iron and a pitching wedge the last 2 times I played it. I've hit as much as a 7-iron, but it's a very simple hole. Just hit the ball in the green. That's it. Green good, miss green bad. Okay, it doesn't get any more simpler than that. And you don't need a 240-yard par 3 for it to be hard. Well, I think that the older you get, the less you can carry the golf ball. But over here, you can run the golf ball 100 yards if you get the right wind and the right trajectory. So it negates somewhat of the high launch conditions that most of the times you see on the tour nowadays that populate the world. Here it's a little bit different. You can play on the ground. You can burn it on the ground with a 1-iron, 2-iron, 3-wood, whatever, even drivers, and just flight it and get a bunch of run. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see older champions are up there on the board, is that they're not forced to have to carry the ball 320 yards anymore.
Than it was?
Well, I can tell you we're making progress. I can't tell you more than that, just because we're not going to negotiate on the outside. We've got to keep everything at a high level and private. But things are moving and things are changing. It's evolving each and every day. There's emails and chains and texts and things that we got ideas that we bounce back and forth from both sides. So there's a good interchange of ideas and thoughts of how the game could look like going forward. It's just a matter of putting that all together legally. Obviously, we have the DOJ with oversight and looking into that as well, and making sure that we don't do anything improperly there as well, but also making sure that all the players benefit from this, and as well as everyone who's involved. They want to make money as well. They want to make that return. We're now into not just charitable endeavors. We're into a for-profit model, so we have to make returns.
Tiger Woods addressing the media at the start of the 152nd Open. What were your expectations at the start of the week for Tiger Woods, and did they match his? He was asked at one point the obligatory question of how long you're going to keep doing this and what are your expectations when you came in. And to both, he said the same answer, which was, I'm going to do this as long as I can when I still think that I can win. When we come back on the Fairways of Life show, live from this 152nd Open at Royal Troon, we're going to take a much closer look at the golf course, and in particular, so you understand some key holes, because I had a chance to talk to Tiger about what holes he thought would be a factor in this Open here at Royal Troon, and he gave us the framework to discuss that which lies ahead. Back after this.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
PGA Tour Superstore pros aren't born. They're made. Every January, hundreds of associates talk to the top manufacturers, learn about the latest clubs, test the newest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together, hit over 100,000 balls, all so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
As we welcome you back to the 152nd Open at Royal Troon, I am Matt Adams. We're live from the Media Center. The old course at Royal Troon, it's a classic out-and-back links with the 9th hole the farthest from the clubhouse. The front 9 heads generally in a southeasterly direction. The back 9 then comes back in a northwest direction. Typically, the back 9 is played into a stiff sea breeze, make it one of the hardest 9s in all of the game of golf. It is believed that 4 or 5 of the holes existed on this very ground here as early as 1870, but Troon Golf Club was officially founded on March 16, 1878, and that happened in the Portland Arms Hotel nearby. Before it hosted its first Open in 1923, 5-time Open champion James Braid was brought in to strengthen the golf course. He made various adjustments, including adding a bunch of bunkers. Most of those bunkers, in fairness, have since been taken out over the years with renovations. The club received its royal status from Queen Elizabeth II in its centenary year of 1978, with its name changing from Troon Golf Club to Royal Troon Golf Club, of course, at that time. Their next-door neighbor to the south is Prestwick Golf Club, founded in 1851. They hosted their first Open, and it was 9 years later in 1860. Prestwick ended up hosting 24 opens, the last being in 1925, 2 years after Troon hosted the first of its now 9 opens. This is its 10th year hosting this year. It's a par 36 and then 35 for a total of 71. Yardage will be 7,385 yards, 195 yards longer than it was the last time we were here for the Open in 2016. Every par 4 in the back 9 is longer than the longest par 4 in the front 9. The 440-yard 9th hole is the longest on the front. The back 9 is 307 yards in total, longer than the front, 3,846 to 3,539 respectively. All but 3 holes, the 8th, 13th, and 18th, have different scorecard yardages in 2024 than in 2026. Pretty much of that, which I just gave you, is a little bit more yardage. Not a lot, as you just heard. There's a couple of them that are actually a few yards less. The fairways, tees, surrounds are predominantly fine fescue. The greens are predominantly brown top bent with some fine fescue and poana. The average green size is about 4,800 square feet. That's small. The rough is a combination of everything from bent grass and red fescue and onward. There's a total of 98 bunkers on the property, with the addition of 3 new bunkers for this year. The lowest score at the Open at Royal Troon was a 63. It was shot twice. Phil Mickelson with 8 birdies and no bogeys did it in the first round of 2016. Henrik Stenson in that epic final round shot a 63 with 10 birdies and 2 bogeys back in 2016 in his march to victory. In 2016, the course average was 73.162, making it the 4th hardest course on the PGA Tour in that season. Only Oakmont at the U.S. Open, Torrey Pines South at the Farmers Insurance Open, and Augusta National at the Masters played harder in that year. So when Tiger Woods came through the media center, and he had a lot of things to address with the media heading into a week of this stature, I did have a chance to ask him the following, because Tiger had talked to us about how at this golf course there's kind of 9 holes, as he put it, that are gettable, and 9 holes that you have to, be careful on. So that's where the framing of my question started, because I wanted a little more insight into where Tiger thought opportunities lie, or where Tiger thought there could be trouble.
Tiger back here. Could you describe for us perhaps some of the holes that you said are kind of green light go holes, and maybe a couple that you want to be more cautious on?
Well, the first couple holes are starting out. They're pretty simple, straightforward. 7 is one of those holes that I think you can go for it if you want to. You can drive it down there and you get the right wind, you can almost drive it on a green. Then coming home is no joke. I mean, you got some tough tee shots coming home, and you got to hit some good shots. But overall, I think there are some gettable holes. Some of the par 5s, the 2 par 5s on the front. Depends what 16 is doing with the wind. You can get it into the wind. It's a 3-shot hole no matter what. Or if the wind lays down, you can get there in 2. You just got to be careful with the burn coming across the fairway. But other than that, you'll see a lot of the guys lay up to the same spots. There will be occasional areas where, with the right wind conditions, guys can be aggressive, especially some of the longer hitters. They can be aggressive. It does allow for that. But in general, if we get the winds what were forecasted, I think that we're going to be playing for about the same areas.
Okay, so Tiger was talking about 7 holes. Let's start with this. The 4th hole, Donneur, it's a par 5 of 599 yards. It's a first par 5 in the car. It provides possibly the best birdie chance on the course. Long hitters will be able to carry the gaping bunker in the right of the fairway and will be left with a mid-iron approach into a fairly generous green. A few bunkers are dotted around the putting surface, but players would be really, I think, unlucky to find their shots unplayable. A 5 on this hole will be a disappointment to many. The name of the hole comes from the village of Donneur and its ruined castle, which overlooked the south of Ayr Bay. All right, from there, he was talking about the 6th hole. It's called Turnberry, par 5 of 623 yards. The 6th hole starts and shares its name with another famous championship venue, of course, that's nearby, Turnberry, which can be seen from Troon. Having been lengthened by 22 yards for this Open, it will play as the longest hole in the championship history, although it is a beastly hole whenever it is played into the wind. It usually plays straight downwind and offers a great birdie chance. The drive on the 6 is fairly straightforward, but the difficulty lies with the second shot here. provided players get their drive away safely, then they're left with a very long approach into a narrow green. A sudden change from the opening 5 holes. Wayward approaches will result in treacherous shots around the green, with the putting surface itself presenting some very severe undulations that you can see there. The next hole that Tiger spoke about specifically was the 7th, a par 4 of 403 yards. It's a visually stunning hole with a slightly raised tee, and the first hole at Royal Troon to be played directly away from the sea. It's not overly a long hole, but most players will be able to take a long iron or fairway wood from the tee. But the challenge in this hole is the accuracy. An array of fairway bunkers intimidates players from the tee, while the green is amongst the longest and narrowest on the course, despite its many perils. If you play this hole accurately, then you will be rewarded with a fair birdie chance. After that, we'll be talking about the 8th hole, postage stamp, a par 3 of all of 123 yards. Yes, the most famous hole at Troon and one of the most iconic in the world of golf. Although short in length, it can strike fear to the heart of even the best players. That fear comes from a number of factors, including the usual headwind, the small size of the putting surface, and that accounts for the hole's name, and the deep bunkers that protect it. There have been many famous moments on this hole and many infamous ones too. If they were offered 4 pars on the postage stamp hole at the start of the week, most players would take it and run. The hole measures 123 yards, as little as 99. As for the next hole, the 11th, it's called Railway, par 4, 498 yards. It's difficult, everything here is, but the Railway takes the honor of being the hardest hole on Royal Troon, one of the toughest in all the game of golf. Once again, a significant carry required from the back tees to a fairway that's angled away to the right. The ideal line involves a carry over gorse bushes, and that will take some bravery not to put it out of bounds on the Railway line, riding tight down that right-hand side. While the opening shot can vary in difficulty depending on the tee position, the second remains devilish in all circumstances, with the Railway line always in play, and gorse bushes down the left-hand side and the lone greenside bunker awaiting shots that bail out. From there, let's talk about the 16th. The 16th hole is a par 5, 572 yards. The first genuine respite, I guess, in the back 9 is here at 16. The first par 5 since the 6th hole. This hole provides some much-needed relief to players who have been battling to save par, perhaps, to this point, and provides a very good birdie chance despite usually playing against the wind. Yet even the 16th provides no free handouts, as a perfectly placed burn that cuts through the center of the fairway can often take driver out of the hands of the longest hitters. That's what Tiger was talking about, and that leaves a very long second shot, which can render the green out of reach sometimes. A cross-bunker ensures a hit-and-hope strategy will likely fail too, ensuring most players will be left with a shot between 80 and 100 yards of possibly the most abundantly bunkered green on the course. For birdie chance, for sure, you most certainly will have to work for it. At 18, it is a par 4 of 458 yards. It's the final chapter of really what's been a wonderful 18 and testing back 9, wouldn't you agree? It has all the hallmarks of a great finishing hole, too. 3 bunkers at a 25-yard interval ensure that anything leaked left off the tee will be lucky to avoid penalty. A further bunker down the right side at driver length will persuade many to lay up, especially with the open on the line, perhaps. And from the center of the fairway, a mid to long iron will await with a well-bunkered green short and right. So that's a look at the holes that specifically Tiger mentioned. Maybe there's some that will stand out to you throughout the course of this Open as well, and how it wraps up. And how it wraps up is what we are 100% here for. We can't wait to wrap it all up with you once it is said and done. But what has been said and done so far this week has at times been insightful, at times it has been profound, it's certainly been thought-provoking. There was little doubt about that. Thank you for your company as we have been bringing you here from this 152nd Open at Royal Troon. Your company is always appreciated. You can always find us and find out more about what's going on the Fairways of Life show just by logging on to the Fairways of Life YouTube channel, and make sure that you subscribe there. Until we are together again, folks, be well and goodbye for now.